We back
I missed that tune.
officially. Yeah, our little jingle.
Yeah, it was cool to hear it again. It's like brings everything back, huh?
You know that jingle when we were going to start when I wanted to start the show. I mean, I had no idea about all this stuff, so I thought, you need a jingle.
Yeah.
So I played this thing and I kind of enjoyed it. And we were just saying, now we're stuck with that jingle. It's not going anywhere.
No, it's too late to change it.
Yeah.
Now. But as we were, hitting that switch, it just brought everything back. It was like, kind of like lining up and just before you take the thrust levers again, that same excitement.
That same vibe.
Great to be back, pal.
Good to be back. Had a nice break.
Yeah.
I think we needed it towards the end of the 221 was quite hectic. And nice bit of time off.
Yeah.
You handled that last episode very, very well under exceptionally difficult circumstances. So thanks for that. We're always going to have you doing that episode, and it just worked out at the end. But everyone commented how well you did there, and but it's so nice to be back here for number 4, season 4.
Yeah, hey, thanks, man. Yeah, look at that. The break was well deserved. We definitely needed. Last year was rough. It was tiring towards the end, and the break was good, the reset. But in the last couple of weeks, I've been quite amped to get back to this, and looking forward to everything that's coming, man.
I think last year as well, it was our first real year of working in our professional careers, not as airline pilots.
Yeah.
So it was like there was a lot of feet finding stuff. I mean, there's lots of pros to it, believe me. But there's some difficulties as well. And I think last year was a lot of finding our feet from a work point of view. So we're still in aviation, but we're in a total different environment. So a lot of the stress there was to do with that. But now, totally different. I kind of feel this is what we do now. And it would probably be a little bit difficult going back into the flight deck straight into a airline environment situation. So finding feet, but now it feels a little bit more normal, if I can say that.
Yeah, exactly. I think one of the biggest adjustments has obviously been to adjust to actually having a sort of a routine in a way.
And force yourself to have that routine.
Yeah, for so long, you used to work with a roster, and some days you worked early morning, some days you worked late nights, and a lot of times we didn't work at all.
Yeah. Hashtag sex.
Got paid enough money to do very little, but it was quite a different lifestyle. And now things are, on the other side where sort of routine.
Teams meetings.
Yeah, a lot of things to get used to, which is a hell of an adjustment for us. But now that we're settled in that,
I feel a bit better. Nice to start off the year, and we've got a year in that corporate environment behind us. The podcast did really well last year. It grew nicely, and we've got an awesome, I'd say, network that's following us that we become incredibly tight to. So very, very cool, and glad to be back. But let's talk about it. I mean, what the hell? What did you do? I mean, when was our last episode? Mid-December.
Yeah, somewhere I can't even remember the exact date. Mid-December was the last one, and so it's been about 6 weeks almost.
Yeah.
But the 2-week break that we took from Simaero when we closed down, I took full advantage of the time spent. Good quality family time at home. Played with my boy. Spent time with my folks.
Yeah.
Bride. Drank enough beers. Ate good food.
I can tell.
I'm not hiding that. I did cool stuff, man. Played with remote control cars. All sorts of good stuff. So I just switched off. It was great. I enjoyed it.
Made the most of it.
Yeah, you did the opposite.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I had a nice. I wouldn't call it a break. So I decided to do my grade 3 flight instructor rating, and it was really cool in the end. I was cucking myself for that. Flying a single around Joburg GF, it wasn't my idea of relaxed December holiday. I can tell you that much.
No, I tell you what, when you phoned me the one day and said you're busy doing this, I was like, what? I was like, no, man.
Yeah. No, big respect to all the instructors that are doing that ab initio stuff, really, in Joburg. Yeah, you got to have your wits about you looking for other aircraft.
It's so different to what we used to.
It is literally, you wonder how this is the same license allows you to do one, the airline flying and that.
When I was a young PPL pilot, I can actually say that now, that we're becoming buddies, but I remember the guys always saying IFR flying is so much easier, and I could never understand it, because you would look at a JEP chart back then and think, how am I ever going to understand what that means?
Yeah, exactly.
But now, I mean, it's the whole VFR, IFR, it's Indian territory out there, man.
No, it was a ride. So I must just thank the people that helped me there. I did it at Aviatech in Krugersdorp. So Nico Smith and his team, Marnie van Niekerk, and my instructor Belvin. What a good oak.
What a nice chap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we invited him to Simaero afterwards, so you got to experience a little bit of ERJ work with us. Yeah, but it was an awesome. I don't know. The whole thing was. I don't think many guys get to redo their PPLs again, and that's basically what you're doing. Except this time you're talking a bit more.
Yeah.
But when you do your PPL, there's a lot of exercises you do, and you understand them, of course, but it's only when you sort of go back years later and you do it and you go, okay, I kind of understand it a bit better now. And, the classic thing of it's quite hard. We've discovered this on the podcast. If you don't know a subject particularly well, it's actually very, very hard to talk about it.
Yeah.
So it forces you to know those basics really well. It's like going back to first principle learning, starting from scratch and going through. I must tell you. So it was Juliet Lima Papa Cherokee 180. Not the newest aircraft around, but really nice. It actually had a variable pitch prop and very lacquer. So the one day I'm taxiing there across to the fuel bay. Belvin says, no, I must taxi it across. So it doesn't matter. I'm a hotshot ERJ, CRJ pilot, whatever, taxiing to the fuel bay, and the fuel bay, you have to do like a bit of a 180-degree turn. So that you sort of parallel to the bay. So I'm taxiing in there, and of course you're taxiing like it's a 777, So you go way past where you want to actually turn, and then start turning. And I realize this thing isn't turning. So it doesn't matter. I'll try and use a bit of differential braking and whatnot. This thing's not turning. So I said, okay, safest thing to do is just to stop there, put the park brake on, shut this thing down, go knock on the airport manager's door there and say, sorry sir, do you mind pushing me back? So he tunes me, so you're learning how to fly? So I said, no, it was cool there. But that we don't talk about general aviation a lot, but the activity around Krugersdorp there is unbelievable.
That's insane. I mean, a lot of our friends and colleagues are like Gavin and Ryan and Beckley, a whole host of the guys. I mean, they've all...
Are they all based there with their...
with their small airplanes. And I mean, they're quite passionate about the whole GA thing. And, they spend a lot of their free time out there. Because I've been out of it for so long, it's kind of like, whatever. But it's quite something, the GA world. And
it's really well maintained, that whole airfield. I mean, they were literally cutting the grass every day. Man, there's a nice sort of restaurant there. And like as an alternative on our bikes, we used to always ride off to Kitty Hawk on the weekend. It's nice airfield there. But that Krugersdorp's got a nice vibe there, actually.
It's still a bit of an authentic, nostalgic aviation feel, actually. Like a very old school little building.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
No, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, lekker, man. Yeah, well done on getting your flight instructor's rating done.
Yeah. So Juliet Lima Papa was the aircraft. Papa Archer. So I nicknamed him Archibald. But no, it was cool. So no, thanks to everyone there, and thanks to Marnie for doing the test. It was really, really nice.
Awesome, man.
But other than that, now back at Simaero, we're busy. I must say to everyone that from what we can see from forward bookings, from interest in courses, to asking us, can we come get current again? Can we do PREX and IF renewals and this? The interest has increased significantly.
Yeah. I think by and large, the year's gotten off to a good start in that sense. Things seem to be getting back to normal.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think, but I was also holding my breath a little bit over the December period, waiting for Ramaphosa and the team to shut us down further, because there was all those figures and stats going around.
Yeah.
But they actually did the opposite.
Yeah.
Everybody else was
Yeah,
still
we
scared of us.
anticipated being shut down.
But it's gone the other way, and slowly but surely the world's opening us up, and they're accepting South Africans again, and it definitely feels like we're back on track. So it's cool.
I think so. Lots to look forward to.
Absolutely.
I was actually messaging a couple of guys yesterday that I know aren't flying yet to say, just maybe now's the time to start thinking about getting those books ready, even if it's just for interview type prep, because there's no doubt that I spoke to one of the big airlines in South Africa, their CEO yesterday, and he said exactly the same thing. He said, "No, this is the tide has turned, and they see things getting really busy, and they see a massive pilot shortage." And I don't want to go mention his name because I didn't ask permission to say, but it's very, very hopeful. I must say, it's very positive. Yeah, it's going to be good. Going to be a good year.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's what we want. The whole thing's been dragging on for far too long.
So what's dragged it on? I mean, okay, let's go now. Obviously, this Omicron thing, we spoke about it before, but it's still happening. So
what's dragged it on? Politicians.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And if you
nonsense,
I almost don't want to. You don't even want to talk about it, because you can go and listen to any aviation podcast at the moment, and everyone is saying exactly the same thing. But let's face it, Omicron has, given the necessary fear factor to the people and allowed disaster policies in place, allowing them to bypass, those pesky parliament meetings and other democratic rights of, the people.
Yeah.
So that's what they've used it for. I'm pretty sure we all had it at one point. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, some figures that came out of United the other day. I was going to talk about this later, but seeing that we're chatting about it, United's workforce in Newark, 1/3 of their workforce called in sick on the one day.
Yeah.
It's quite clear that obviously virus related type stuff, but the reality is not one of those people were hospitalized.
Exactly.
So they've got obviously a vaccine policy. So I'm not going to jump into vaccines and that, but not one of those people hospitalized. So yeah, look, this has to end. It just simply has to end. And I think we're going to have to carry on, as much as it's like almost a boring subject to talk about. We need to actually keep talking about it, because it forms such a major part of the aviation industry right now.
Yeah.
And it almost is the thing that is just holding the expansion away. There was another theory going on in the States that they're saying they actually need an excuse right now to not let people fly, because America can't actually do the flying.
Yeah, there's not enough
pilots, there's not enough personnel, there's not enough ground staff, there's not enough trainers, there's across the board.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So we always talk about pilots, but think about that workforce that they spoke about. It's not just pilots.
No,
that's
across the board.
Across the board. So they actually need this an excuse right now to say no, it's because of Omicron. Meanwhile, they actually cannot handle the demand.
Yeah, it's crazy. The one thing that started all the chaos is actually now becoming an excuse that works in your favor.
Exactly.
It's a bit warped.
It is. It's a bit whack. Yeah.
Anyway, but look, at the end of the day, our mantra here is to stay positive and keep looking at the bright side of things.
Which we will.
Yeah. So obviously, this being the first show of the new year, we're looking forward to all the positive outcomes and hopefully hearing a lot more of guys getting jobs that they want. And
well, let's talk about that locally, because obviously a lot of local guys.
Yeah.
So Airlink, no surprise there, most on-time airline in December.
Yeah.
Okay, 2021. And they seem to have held that title for quite a while. So they're doing really well. They're flying their asses off, those pilots.
Yep.
100 plus a month. You know, of course the management are going to do that because why not? They've got the people available. They see it can work. So the guys are flying really hard. Roger Foster was admitted to the Order of the Southern Cross for Brazil.
Yes, yeah. There was a big ceremony held here for him. I mean, yeah, it's kind of not surprising. He's done good work. And I mean, obviously...
Yeah, he's been a massive supporter of Embraer.
Exactly, yeah. So they hold him in high regard. And I mean, yeah, well done. And congratulations to him and the airline. They're doing very well and continually growing, expanding. I mean, there was...
who else got knighted? Lewis Hamilton.
Let's not go there.
For coming second. Okay, carry on.
I want to try and stay positive, and you want to bring Hamilton into the conversation. No.
Sorry, Keegs.
Yeah, we'll get to Keegs later. But yeah, back to Roger Foster and Airlink. There was an article. There's obviously a bit of debate about them, but I believe they're the second largest airline on the continent next to Ethiopian.
It's mad, eh?
Yeah, a bit of debate around Egypt Air and all that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I would believe it. Yeah, so it's cool. But yeah, the pilots flying at Airlink are not the only ones working hard. Seme guys are flying quite hard.
Seme flying hard.
Come,
Safi guys, Fly Safi is flying hard.
Yeah. So
let's face it, a lot of the, this is not from an official source, but quite clear. A lot of Fly Safi guys put little applications into Fly Dubai.
Yeah,
which is good because a lot of ex-Mango guys are finding their way into Safi.
Yeah, so it's good. It's starting the flow of movement.
Yeah, you got to create that.
Yeah,
if let's just say 10 guys go, they got to replace those slots, and
it's movement.
Have you heard? I mean, I've seen a couple of the Mango guys. I know they have got. I don't know if they confirm positions at Fly Safi.
Yeah, I can't confirm it. It's the words out there. The rumors are there. So
yeah, and Safi sort of made their bed when they said they want to take top-rated guys.
Yeah,
so that's got to make sense for them. So
that's cool. Great. I mean, locally, that's awesome. We heard from our good mate Al Macaulay in Canada, our correspondent from Montreal. Yeah, he got positive news in December. He landed a job with Air Inuit, flying Dash 8s in Canada, and he's super excited about that. And yeah, congratulations, Al. Wishing you all the best on your new venture with them. And we're so chuffed for you that you've managed to get a position there. It's awesome.
Yeah, so Al's watching us put a comment up there. So awesome. Thanks, Al. Yeah, no, great news.
Yeah,
and every little bit that you get like that from colleagues around the world, it actually does give you that little boost there.
That's power, man. It's power. It's so positive, and it looks like he's gonna have a fat adventure. Those videos that he sent us of the flying that they do there.
That looks like a joy.
Ultra cool.
That looks very cool.
Oh.
You mentioned Simaero earlier. So Simaero is still one of the airlines that are employing.
Yes.
And I think Duncan Gillespie posted something. He said, if you are at home twiddling your thumbs and you want to go and fly an airplane, they were looking for 1900 drivers. So
captains and FOs.
Yeah, so why not give it a try? I mean, it beats sitting at home watching Netflix.
Right, absolutely.
You can only watch Emily in Paris a couple of times. So yeah, it's worth it. But I really want to take the opportunity now to say to Simaero as well. I mean, what a positive thing they have been for the industry, not just now, but from last year too.
Yeah.
They were expanding. They've expanded through this period.
They're still expanding. And
no one, I mean, I haven't, there's been the odd news report and whatnot, but maybe we haven't spoken about it enough. They have continued to expand. Not only that, they've got really key people in key positions. And it's a force to be reckoned with there. someone I was talking to here today said no, they were on a semi-flight plet to Cape Town. It was awesome, and it's like people now know if you're going to plet, you're going on semi, and they know what semi is all about. So they've got this niche market, and they're doing a really, really good job.
Yeah.
So
the best thing about them as well is, do you know how nice it is for us ex CRJ drivers to see a CRJ in the sky again?
Yeah.
Couple of times I've left work, and as you climb onto the highway, I've seen on final approach there's a CRJ coming in, even flying over my house. And to me, it's an unmistakable shape.
Mm-hmm.
I'll always look out for that airplane, and it's really cool to see CRJs bombing around SA again.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for them, they wouldn't be. So
yeah, it's very cool, man.
They deserve. Last year there was a small opportunity to get Miles on the show at some point, and I was a little bit hesitant because Miles obviously a big customer of Simaero, and they are a big sponsor. But I think now, Miles, if you are listening, maybe it would be cool to have a bit of a chat.
Yeah, why not?
Sometime. Yeah, I think it'll be nice. I think big positivity there for the industry.
Yeah, I mean, look, it would be awesome to hear more from, I suppose, a lot of these CEOs now. Basically, get word from the horse's mouth.
Yeah,
what's actually going on behind the scenes?
Yeah.
Because we can speculate and try and sum up
we don't
things
speculate.
Form opinions.
Never short of an opinion.
But yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to hear what's actually going on. Because I know, like, from the charter side, I get obviously first-hand information all the time about what's going on there, and I hear about the ups and downs.
Yeah. So while we're talking about that, obviously forming opinions and stuff. So this is flight deck banter, eh?
That's what it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
So if there's a thing wrong and whatever, shoot me a mail, but it might not get read. Obviously the point being, this is what we missed from the flying side. So a bit of banter here and there never killed anyone.
Exactly. I mean, it's conversation, and it's as aviators, that's what we're used to. Sitting for hours and hours on end.
Yeah.
Talking
chatting. So we would talk shit about this, right? So obviously one of the things that definitely boils both of our blood pressures up is seeing these news reports come in. There was one from about Mango the other day, and talking about their VSPs and all the rest being paid out and all the rest. And then there's a potential buyer that is going to buy the brand and do what?
No.
What are you going to do with your 12 employees that you have left?
Yeah.
And why would you use a brand that has publicly failed?
Yeah.
Like you bring a lot of brands back. Like if you go back now, 15 years, Reebok was quite big when we were lighties.
Yeah, we're giving away our ages now.
Yeah. So I remember the whole thing. I mean, I don't know if you've seen The Last Dance on Netflix with Michael Jordan. So, when they went to the Olympics as the dream team, it was sponsored by Reebok, and he didn't want to wear their shoes, type of thing. Yeah. And I mean, that was going sort of way back. And then there was a big lull period where they weren't around. And now they've sort of come back, but it's not like Reebok ever failed publicly. That's why they're back. So it's almost cool to bring back one of these old brands. I mean, I'm not a marketing whiz, and I hope this year as well, I want to get a few marketing people on, because it'll be quite interesting to chat about a different sphere.
That's a whole different world.
But I mean, this business and aviation about the mentality of resurrecting a brand that was never strong to begin with. I mean, let's face it. I mean, Mango was a hell of a lot stronger than SAST from a branding perspective. But come on, man, why would you even go down that route?
No.
But to make matters worse, there's a report here on 702.co.za. Let's see what this thing says. This is about, what's the headline here? State-owned regional airline SA Express, SAX, has been in provisional liquidation since April 2020. And it goes on and on and on. And this guy's talking about, explains that he was approached by a consortium to raise the required funding. They're looking at both anchor investors and the option of crowdfunding. Hart says there's been quite an interest also from abroad. I mean,
For what? For what?
no, but
Half the fleet that they used to have has been chopped up.
not
man.
half the fleet. It's gone. There is
So
no
there's
fleet.
nothing.
And we
And-
are here by the hangar. So if you're
We
wondering
see
and
that.
you're thinking of investing there, you know, you get what the point here. This whole thing about sort of resurrecting these brands seems somewhat
That's half baked, man.
ludicrous.
Yeah, but like the other one, that other airline that we mention every now and again, the one that's
Spoories.
starting soon.
Oh, that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, that one.
Careful, you're going to get blocked.
Yeah, okay. We will body swerve that.
Okay,
one.
so let I think, and I thought about this hard because I know you don't like talking about this, but I think it's our responsibility to talk about it. And it revolves around the guys at SAA got their VSPs.
Mm.
The Mango guys, did they get their VSPs?
Yeah, they got paid out.
Yep.
Not only the VSPs, but yeah, from what I understand, they got their packages. The union did an impeccable job of fighting for them.
Mm.
So from what I've heard, yeah, the guys got a fair whack of cash to
Now the SAC staff did not get their VSPs.
Nothing.
Now, Ryan, let's just there might be a bit of negativity from this from anyone listening, but this is a fact. The SA Express staff, I would hesitate to guess to say they were some of the most disadvantaged employees at those two airlines that come from the most disadvantaged backgrounds.
Mm.
This happened right at the beginning of the pandemic, right at the beginning when everyone was still finding their feet with paying this tours and all this stuff. Remember, we got paid some tours money. I think it was $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
Then we got a mail to say, we might have to pay that back because it was illegal.
Yeah.
Hey?
That was a joke.
So can you imagine the stress? Can you imagine all the things that go on with everyone there with all that nonsense going on? And that was way back at the beginning of 2020. Hey?
Mm.
So I'm going to keep track of this whole SACS thing, and I'm going to keep every now and again giving it a mention, and I'm going to tag the DPE on this video on LinkedIn every week. Because I think it's our responsibility there, and I don't need a VSP. I got a job. I don't give a stuff.
Yeah,
I really don't. It's not for me. But it's
about the principle.
We were lucky enough to get a job, and we're the luckiest two guys around. I
Absolutely.
think,
Yeah,
and my mind on that doesn't change. This is not for me. But man, I've spoken to some of my ex-colleagues and that, and we're not going to let this one lie. I think we have to. We have to keep, at least if we keep the name going there and keep talking about it, because no one else is.
No, I agree. I mean, hopefully with some luck, one day they'll oil this wheel that squeaks the loudest.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something comes.
Maybe
Who
we
knows?
can make enough of a nuisance that that they have to consider it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to become a nightmare to those others. I can't wait. Yeah. Anyway, a little bit, not even a rant, but I think it's something that needs to be spoken about. I haven't seen a huge amount of stuff in the news about SAA merger with Kenya Airways, and is this more about that they now realize the market share that Ethiopian has taken, and they are not even in any position to compete with an airline like that. So a merger of sorts is the only way.
Yeah, well, I think they're grabbing at straws, in my opinion, on that, because they probably were under the impression that they would start back up and then they would very quickly grab the lion's share of the domestic market, which I don't think has happened.
No.
I mean, Come, Safair, Airlink, Seme, Lyft, there's no place. I mean, I've heard lots of stories where people have been on board an SAA flight with 6, maybe 7 passengers.
Yeah.
Again,
though, regionally, people underestimate the whole branding thing here.
No one's going to trust that anymore.
I mean, it went through the media that the experienced pilots at SAA are no longer there. Yeah, go grab me a ticket on that airline. Who's going to say that?
Yeah.
So Anyway, it's again another subject that's going to have to be spoken about through the year. But in fairness, they appear to be trying, and I don't know enough about it. And I looked for it in preparation for this podcast. There was supposed to be
a blind eye to all that stuff,
but wasn't there supposed to be some sort of private, hey?
I got sick of reading about all that SAST. I know it's probably my responsibility as being a podcaster to keep tabs on it, but I just got tired of reading the same crap
over and over.
Yeah,
no, I don't blame you.
What's happening internationally interests me more.
Okay,
so
let's go. Let's go international.
So, how's Emirates?
Oh wait, before though, because we are local right now. So before we go international, this pissed me off. Termination of Virginia Airport leases is valid, says manager.
Yeah,
hey?
What a lot of crap.
Virginia Airport is.
It's like a heritage site.
Yeah, they're going
to demolish now.
Eviction notices to a lot of the people there. So anyone that got it didn't have existing, leases are being evicted. So that's happening.
Yeah,
that's a shame. It's a
sad,
massive shame.
Sad.
Now you can go international.
Where was I? Yeah, I was going to talk about Emirates a day or two ago cancelling most of their flights to the US.
Yeah,
all because of the whole 5G thing.
The world's gone nuts.
The
world has gone nuts.
I couldn't believe it. I thought, we've just we're on the rebound from recovering from a medical pandemic, and now this 5G thing has just got the world's people scrambling again.
So what? I mean,
it's funny.
No, it's nuts.
It's crazy.
They've cancelled.
The flights for most of the destinations in the US, bar I think 3 or 4 of them, were canned for at least a day or two.
We've never really had a go at Emirates.
Yeah, we've tried to steer clear, but
let's have a go at them.
But they've been
unlikely to fly out of South Africa before February, says as well.
Yeah, I mean,
and if they,
it's annoying actually.
If they pull back on the stick,
I was gonna tread that one cautiously, but they've been in the news a hell of a lot, and this 5G thing just fascinated me because it's like, come on, X, the world's gone tilt over. You would think that they would have had this better plan.
This is a subject that,
for a long time.
It's almost the biggest story. What is the biggest story of this week? This 5G.
Yeah.
So it was a CRJ 200, I believe, flying into a particular airport. They got a terrain, and a whoop pull up twice in a row, exactly the same place. Traced back to potentially the 5G issue,
causing issues with the radio altimeter.
Yeah. Now the FAA have known about it for a while. So the big telecoms company there, I think, what's it, AT&T, they've now said, well, aviation has had 2 years to deal with this. So we're putting these things up. Now there's some sort of agreement to, either reduce the power of the
5G stations,
around the airport, or eliminate them altogether. But aviation's going to have to sort of come to the party,
which is unfair. I mean, aviation's been knocked on its balls by this pandemic.
Yeah,
airlines are
trying. This is what I want to talk about. How do you handle another thing here?
Exactly.
So you've got this virus that we're dealing with, the so-called virus, and then
and I mean, let's be honest. If the vaccine hasn't given you a third eye yet, then what's 5G gonna do?
Well, but it's the radio altimeter. Like, is there not a patch that can fix that or whatever?
Software update, something. Who knows?
Yeah, or don't do a Cat 2 approach. I mean, you don't need a radio altimeter, do you? Is it a no-go item in every single aircraft?
Well, it's only affecting certain aircraft. So
like 787, apparently.
Yeah, the A380 is not affected. So that's why there was only certain routes in the US that were affected. So
Makes sense.
Ones that were serviced by the A380, they cracked on. But I just thought it was fascinating. It's like, come on, man. Really.
There's a really good article in the Air Current. I'll put that in the show notes a bit later on about that. If you understand the whole story, when obviously the FAA are extremely cautious with things at the moment. They can't have another max scenario, so they have to act on everything.
Yeah.
So they don't quite know what to do with this, because ultimately it will ground the entire domestic and international fleet. And the fact that they haven't done anything is why Emirates and some Indian airlines have said, well, we're not coming into your airport. So it's quite a remarkable thing.
Yeah.
I've got a 5G router in my room, so
this is the thing. I mean, like, I've got 5G signal most of the places I go here around here in SA, but it hasn't stopped anything here.
when the power's on.
But that's a point.
Yeah.
True story.
So staying with all that, so a story we're going to have to follow. 5G, it's not over yet.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
We're going to have to watch it.
Yeah.
Duncan as well posted, he says, now that the Brits have established that it's no more dangerous flying to and from South Africa than to Cornwall, British Airways are back in full force with double daily B777 service to Cape Town and A380s to Joburg.
I saw the A380 coming into Joburg this morning. Man, it was so nice. It was actually as I was driving into Simaero. There's a little patch there between the trees, and I saw this 380 pulling through. I was like, man, it looked cool. Yeah. So nice to see that back in.
Yeah, that's back.
Sweet.
It's always like this sort of recovery in one way, and then you trough in another way.
Yeah.
It's never like a one big sort of thing. It's annoying. We have to get back to normal, Ryan. We have to talk about it as much as difficult as it is. We need to actually keep talking about this normality stuff. And we've spoken a lot about different podcasts we listen to. Anyone else involved in any other industry, we're affected heavily in aviation, of course, but everyone is so affected and everyone is so hurtful.
Look, I've listened to lots of podcasts over the last couple of weeks, had the time to actually dedicate enough time to just listen to a whole bunch of different shows and become a fan of other podcasters out there. And I've picked up that even the non-aviation related podcasts, it still gets spoken about a lot. It's affected everybody in every single industry in every single corner of life, the whole world over. And we all trying to reel from it and picking at the scabs, I guess. But it's the major part of our lives now, and
it's like a learn to live with it type of thing.
Yeah,
sort of dealing with it. But then you get, as we said, in these sort of negative sides, you get an article that comes out. US airlines are hiring from Australia directly and paying pilots 600,000 Rand sign-on bonuses.
Heavy.
So you get and let's face it, America does not have any other area to look for pilots other than around the world.
Yes.
So they've gone to Oz. It's probably open to the Kiwis as well. But I'm telling you, I believe it. They're going to come to the Republic, and they're going to say, "Show us your green license." I'm telling you, they're so short.
Can you imagine?
They are canceling hundreds and hundreds of flights a day. They can't do it.
Can you imagine that happens? Yeah, it's going to create a vacuum in South Africa of pilots, because everyone I know, and I think
the chickens come home to roost.
All of my mates said if an opportunity comes up in the States, they're gone before you can. So it's going to be, let's hope that happens.
I think it's going to happen. I'd put a bet there that's going to happen. I really believe it.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So we've covered a bit of what we did, where we're going. We spoke about in the promo last week what the plan is for the podcast. So, took us a bit of time we needed the break, so we took the break. And I'm going to ask everyone now, the one thing that changed that helps us a lot is reviews. So
yes,
shoot us a review, please, on Spotify. If you listen on Spotify, give us a 5-star.
Even on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, Apple Podcasts, we've always asked people, and they have a review option. Spotify never did. So now you can actually go click 5 stars on Spotify. So that'll give us a bit more reach. If you can, please do that. That'll help. Do you want my advisory?
Hit it.
So a lot of people's New Year's resolutions, including mine, is to do a bit more reading.
Yeah.
But proper reading. Like if there's a few books that that I'd really have liked to have read that, but I haven't. And so I decided, right, so I'll put them on my iPad on the Kindle app, and I read them on my iPad, which is really cool because at night my my little bambino sleeps between me and the missus now, so I can't put a big light on and read the book. So I try and sort of get up early and do a bit of reading. So I'm doing a bit of reading now on some aviation books that we're using for our courses going through the year.
Yeah.
And one of the nice things you can do on the Kindle app, or reading on a Kindle itself, is that you can highlight and write notes.
Yes.
So you never want to dirty your nice book that you've got. So you actually want to write a few notes. So it was mentioned on the Lex Friedman, one of the Lex Friedman podcasts. There's an app called Readwise. So it's a Readwise app.
How do you spell that? W-Y-Z-E or?
Y-S-E.
Okay, Readwise, yeah.
Yeah, and you can, when you make your highlights on the Kindle, it basically sends you an email every day about the highlights that you've just made.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it also, if you go onto the app, you can click the book that you're reading, and then all your highlights are there.
Oh, yeah?
Including your notes. Because, if you highlight something in a book, it means that it stood out.
Yes.
And then you carry on reading, you go 10 pages, you guaranteed that you're not, especially on a Kindle, to go back another 10 pages to go and read that highlight that you did. So you highlight something, but the chances are you never see that highlight again.
Yeah.
So this way, your highlights are actually there for future reference.
That's cool.
So you highlight something, and it tells you. So if you label your highlight options, so you've got the different colors, 5 different colors or whatever, and label them for different things. So if it's like something for aviation, make it red. If it's something for personal growth, make it green or whatever. And you end up getting quite a nice system of checking the things that you highlighted. Then when you wake up in the morning, you can actually go and read those highlights from yesterday. Shit, I forgot about that one. Maybe I must mention that. And I mentioned it in one of our lectures today. It's like, I must tell the guys this. Yeah. But if it wasn't there and I couldn't reference it again easily, then it would have been a bit difficult. So Readwise app. That's my one for the beginning. I know, most people's resolutions, go to the gym, which is one of mine. Haven't been yet, and do a bit more reading. So that was my one.
I decided not to have any resolutions this year, and so far I haven't had any reason to disappoint myself for not going to the gym.
No failures.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just going to crack on with that thinking. But what I have been doing, and we did say last week that we were going to review some podcasts.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, I had a chance to listen to a few great podcasts.
So this is the Bryan Air review.
Yes, of other podcasts. Yeah. And one guy I really enjoy listening to, Rob Dahl. He's got the Mindset Mentor podcast.
Yeah, you've spoken about his podcast for a while.
Yeah, man, it's pretty good. I'd recommend it. It's a worthwhile listen. It's just, you have those odd days, particularly when you've had a few upsets in life, and you get the good days and the bad days. You can very easily find yourself falling into a bit of a fog, and when you've got the time, you need to work on that and keep yourself wings level, right side up. And this kind of podcast, it just beats on about all the positivity and the good things to look at, and it's a constant reminder of how to just keep going, I guess. So Rob Dahl's Mindset Mentor podcast.
Are these out every week?
Yeah, he pushes out 2 or 3 a week.
You mentioned him a while ago, so he's been pushing out shows.
I've been listening to him for a long time, and no, I think it's a worthwhile listen. So that's my podcast review for the week.
That's cool. Chris Williamson said the other day, I know you've been listening to him for a while, because a couple of years ago you said to me, I listened to this guy.
Yes.
And there's almost like this thing where the original supporters that I feel we have, kind of like almost they are as much part of the show. I mean, the people watching now, and if they weren't, we probably wouldn't be doing it, So those original listeners are definitely part of the show. You're obviously one of the real stalwarts of that podcast, because it's definitely not the first time you've spoken about that. So check it out.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Just shoot me the link so I can put it in the notes.
No, I will. It's a real thing. I mean, instead of just wasting time sitting for half an hour in the traffic in your car listening to the crap that they put out on the radio. These podcasts are worthwhile. It's a good value add, and it's
because the radio is still going.
Yeah, every now and again, like if I've hit the end of a show and you got nothing else to listen to, you catch up on, and man, it's radio is dead.
Yeah, no, it's done.
Another good one that's worthwhile to mention. It's actually Chris Williams' show with Ben Bergeron. He's a CrossFit fundi. You got to listen to that show.
I haven't listened to that.
I'll send you the link, but I was giving it a listen yesterday on the way home. Man, love what that guy has to say.
Yeah,
it's got to do with people's outlooks on things, and I won't go too much into it now.
Yeah, rather listen to it.
It's a worthwhile listen.
So one of the things with the podcast is that we've got like a core group that we listen to. Obviously, Rogan's on there and that, but these guys are pushing out a huge amount of podcasts every week. They pre-record a lot of stuff. Rogan's live, but a few other guys pre-record a lot of stuff. So you get 1 week, there's 3 podcasts.
Yeah.
No one is ultimately going to go and listen to all 3 of those in a week. There's not enough time. But we've sort of got quite keen from a professional point of view, listening to these podcasts to see where we can improve. But they've also helped us personally.
Yeah.
So we're going to try and report on them a bit more, and also making podcasts more popular makes our show more popular. That's the kind of idea. So
exactly,
the Bryan Air review. I want to give a bit of a shout out because you used her as well, because I spoke about my instructor rating.
Yeah.
And Suzanne Aviation.
Yes, from CIA Services.
CIA Services.
Man,
you can find her on LinkedIn. Best place to find her.
She's been quite active on LinkedIn. And like you said.
She was excellent. Last year, I handed in my papers for the guys overseas. You're not worried about their green mambas. It's quite a rigmarole going through the CIA these days. You need an agent basically to help you through. And I had such an unfriendly experience last year. Reading me the right act of how I must send these things and how they must be labeled and all the rest. I mean, it was not a nice experience. Almost thought, who the hell are you talking to me like that? I thought I'm not using them this year. And obviously, I've got to know Suzanne on LinkedIn over the last year. So I thought, okay, obviously, we're going to try Suzanne. And man, was she so efficient. As she got my stuff, nice, friendly. Yeah, I'll send it. They gave me my license back. She was at the CIA and she sent me a picture. And there was sort of like makeup on my license on the one part. So she said she's not accepting this. So she said she's going to stay here until they reprint. So I said, no, it's fine. Don't worry. I'll just shove it in there. And she said, no. They must reprint. And she stayed there and got my nice clean license, delivered nicely, all the rest. And it's not expensive at all. And a really pleasant experience, actually. One email, I want to do this, tells you the price, make the payment. You pay the CIA separately. Send her the PDFs of your docs. They go off. She keeps you up to speed. They were a little bit slow in getting my license back. So I got a forwarded email saying, hey, where's, Roseveare's license here? And the next day it was there. So, anyone that wants to renew a license, Suzanne was superb. Link in the show notes.
I can definitely vouch for her as well. I mean, I did my IF renewal 2 weeks ago. And after my last experience with trying to do it myself, it was horrendous. And no, she made it.
So you sent it on the CIA website?
The last time I did it, I did it like
so there
as
is
they
that
recommend.
option.
There's an option. Yeah. But I ended up waiting 2 months to get my license back. And every time you try to inquire,
So who did you inquire to?
That number that they give you.
Because this was the best part about Suzanne, because when you inquire, within 2 minutes, email back,
boom,
directly from there.
Yeah.
But, we're not running the CIA down. That's not our MO here. But they needed, for my instructors, the exam, like when you get your ATP exam results.
Yeah, the certificate is your printout. Yeah.
So they needed that. But they don't have that for your flight instructors. It's just 2 exams. So they don't give you that whole thing. So, but all that was sorted out through her. I didn't deal with it at all.
Yeah.
Didn't even touch it. I didn't deal with, there was no rigmarole. Post courier guy to the house. There's the license.
no, she made it so seamless and it was easy and no, highly recommended. Please use her. Don't go and battle if you don't have to. And support her business. She does a great job, and the comms from her, it's like,
yeah,
it's straight up.
I get the impression from her as well. She's trying to actually use this as a way to make the right connections in the industry.
Yes.
So she's doing it the right way. This is the money that you have to pay is so small that it's really worth it, and then you get a nice connection out of it. And Suzanne's sitting on, I don't know, she's got like 13,000 connections on LinkedIn, so she's a good person to know. So please support Suzanne.
Yeah, you have to. It's
well worth it.
And I bumped into old Keegan Glanfield yesterday.
Yeah,
he was
here
at Simaero. And we're all sporting our flying socks. And thanks for showing Keegan some support over the last couple of months. He says it's done quite well so far.
Better than expected, he said.
Yeah, and he's keen to get back onto the show. So we'll have Keegs back soon.
Yeah, we're actually getting most people back.
Yeah,
John Hull's going to come on. Derek and Seko's coming on.
Craig Wood.
Craig's going to be on next week.
Yeah.
So we're going to. Craig's beta version of his app is done, and now you need to download the
platinum version,
the proper version. Yeah, platinum version.
Quite well.
And so we'll chat with Craig next week, and through the year we're gonna. I haven't spoken to Mark actually. We're gonna get Mark back on as well.
Yeah,
a few other people.
Yeah, Mark. Just to mention a few. John Kearney.
John's got to come
around,
back. Yeah, he's got to come back. Leon.
Oh, definitely Leon. And no, all our good connections and supporters. Looking forward to it, man.
Jason Northwood as well has been on. Obviously, we know that. Yeah. He posted something on Facebook last night, and I jumped on it. Anyone into the crypto world, you and I are quite big on it, Keen. I bought a few NFTs. I don't know if I'll ever make any money on it, but the way I see it, it's like a bit of a gamble with not much to lose and a hell of a lot to gain. So this group, it's called Crypto Pilots.
Yeah.
They've created aviation-themed digital captains. NFTs. Yeah, NFTs, non-fungible tokens. And they've made, so the Crypto Pilots, a group of 26 uniquely handcrafted NFT collectibles. So each captain in this exclusive club is named after a letter in the phonetic alphabet.
Yeah.
And so you can buy. I saw the whiskey one, which probably would have been our first choice. That was a bit more expensive than the others.
It would be,
but they proper, and the most of them were on bid last night when I checked for 0.5 ETH. So that's about 25,000 Rand at yesterday's rate. And obviously Ethereum is way down at the moment.
Yeah.
So if you are looking at getting into the NFT space or even the crypto space, and you want to stay within your aviation sort of interest, these guys are doing this. And then I shot them a message to say, this is awesome, and we like the crypto side, we like the NFT side. Can we have a chat sometime on the podcast? Sent me a very nice message back saying, listen, we're going to remain fully anonymous through this whole thing. So no, we can't join you on the podcast, but thanks so much for the support and whatnot. But it made it almost a bit cooler.
Yeah.
That they're sticking with their guns. Yeah. Because if you go onto their site, you can't see who they are.
Yeah. It's very sort of conspicuous.
And maybe if we can explain it, the whole thing with the metaverse and where things are heading, there's no question about it. This virtual reality world is going to require, or NFTs are going to be a big part of that.
Yes.
So your personal persona can exist in this virtual reality almost as a NFT if you want. And if you're an airline pilot, of course, you're going to want to probably exist in the virtual world as an airline pilot as well. So this is where these things come in.
Yeah.
So you can almost associate with the bit of digital art that you bought. Jokes aside, my one that I bought has gone up 500% since I bought it.
Seriously?
Yeah. I don't know how to sell it, but the value has gone up.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting space. However, we're an aviation podcast, and what do you never do from an aviator? You never take financial advice.
No,
from an aviator.
I seem to remember we pushed out some pearls of wisdom last year, like something like, yo, buy Bitcoin now.
Yeah.
And that was when Bitcoin was like $1 million.
Yeah. And but it'll come back.
Yeah, don't take business advice from pilots.
Yeah. Leon's asking, where can he check those NFTs out? Yeah, so that's on OpenSea, but I'll put the link a bit later on in the show notes. You can check it there. Well worth it. Jason also commenting here. Crypto Pilot project looks fantastic. So cool to see the aviation genre coming into the NFT world. That's exactly what it is. So the NFT world is like the next thing that we can talk about in the tech space, and aviation's found its way in. So 26 NFTs available. There's quite a lot of them that are still available to be bought, and
it's going to be like a watch this space type thing.
It's a real watch this space.
I think Oaks are going to jump on it. It's going to be quite cool.
It's very cool.
The metaverse thing is going to expand quite a lot,
and it's all in line. I mean, it's all full. So I'm not telling anyone to go and buy one of these things because that would be it's a 25K in ZAR is quite a lot of castle lights, but there's a lot. Yeah,
check them out. They're actually very cool to look at because I like the look of them more so than those crypto punk things.
Those crypto punks have gone out of this world. I mean, they're being sold for a huge amount of money.
It's not even,
they're up in the hundreds of thousands.
Nice art, really.
Yeah, look, their marketing and everything's been superb. But this is actual. I mean, it's really, really good. So well worth a look there.
Awesome.
Ryan, when we were away on our break, South African aviation lost a legend.
Yeah.
Glenn Warden was, if you had to define professionalism, he's a person that comes to mind. The fact that he lost his life in an aircraft, for me, is almost provokes like a disbelief. Yeah. And I will be honest, when I was doing that sort of grade 3 instructors and I was flying around the GF, I had this the whole time in my mind. I said to you before we started the show that I wish I had enjoyed that flying more, but I was so nervous something was going to happen in the air. You because it's not you're looking out for another aircraft, and you're bloody terrified, man. When I did my PPL and common, that I didn't care, but just later on in life, it had a bigger thing. And I know Glenn's accident really shocked us. We had worked with Glenn quite closely in last year, and
it shook our industry as a whole. I mean, the whole industry was in disbelief, and still is. Major shock to lose such an icon, like you say, an absolute master of his craft. Such a skilled pilot and absolute gentleman, and
he was always really good to us.
Yeah,
and
shucks, it's sad. It's
very sad.
But and then more recently this weekend, the passing of someone we've worked with quite closely. Quentin De Clack. Sadly passed away.
That shocked us terribly. Today's show is dedicated to Quentin and his family.
Yeah, sincere condolences and strongest of the family. Man.
Yeah, Quentin De Clack, was he the youngest DFE in the country? He must have been.
I don't know for certain, but
he must have been.
He certainly did accomplish a lot in
Quentin,
short space of time.
I think he was Salenta's head of training standards. What a wonderful guy.
Yeah.
And a huge source of knowledge. He was unopinionated. He didn't wield his DFE status. In fact, if someone else didn't tell me that he was a DFE, I would never have known.
Never know, yeah.
He always gave his time and effort, and he was a aviation instructor, teacher at heart.
Yeah.
And Quentin and his family, dedicated to you. It's a what can we do? I don't know. I was absolutely shocked by it. What a great guy. Incredibly sad.
Yeah.
And I'm just absolutely devastated about the losses that we've had. And I almost want to say, Quentin was going in that direction. He would have been the Glenn Warden type of guy in South Africa.
Yeah, definitely in terms of training, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's we all deeply saddened by it and shocked. And man, I just hope that these this nonsense can all stop now.
Yeah, please.
I'm tired of people.
No, that's done.
Yeah.
No, and very, very sad. And Quentin,
I'm running out of words on it, man.
Yeah, we really miss you, and it came as a major shock. So
shit.
Yeah, to his family. That's it. Sorry. Sure. What do you say?
They can't, man.
Craig Wood's on with us next week. We're going to chat about Aviation 4SA. Aviation 4SA is forming a major part of the legislature side.
Legislation, yeah.
And Craig's a great guy. He's supported the show, and we want to support him. So have a bit of a chat where it's going. As I said, the beta version is now finished, and if you want to go and download the full version, it's there. It works really well. We use it a lot here at the center, and we can't do without it, in fact. So it's well worth a download.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it works well. We've used it quite a bit, and strongs to Craig and his team for putting it together, and definitely keep pushing it and supporting them all the way.
I enjoyed our first episode, bro.
It's been great fun, pal. Have a good weekend, everyone, and we'll see you again next week.
Yeah, a lot of people watching and listening as always, and thanks for the guys on the comments for making them on there. It's nice to see all the old names back, and Marcel Smith there, thanks. Happy 222 everyone. Leon just laughing as per normal, like he always does. And Janet's back. Thanks. Welcome back, gents. May the new year 222 bring you more happiness, success, love, and blessings. Thank you, Janet, always a supporter. Dave Sterling, welcome back, boys. Thursday has been pretty cuck since hashtag 81. Thanks, Dave. That's a cool message. Really appreciate that. And go aviate there as well. And nice to be back, Ryan. And looking forward to the year. We're going to club it this year. It's going to be a great year. Want to improve on the show? Any comments, please send them to us. And until next week, we'll load shedding permitting back at the same time. Cheers, everyone. Ciao. Bye.